This podcast is brought to you by Hoare Chartered Accountants. Hoare Chartered Accountants are based in Galway City and are a leading provider of audit, accountancy and taxation services. For more information, visit hoarecharteredaccountants.ie. Now we're continuing our build up to the Intermediate Hurling Championship, and I'm joined by climbers Jack O'Mara. Jack, how are preparations going ahead of the championship?
I'm sure going well now, Paul. I have to say, it's probably the time of the year that you're most looking forward to when you go back down. Starting at the start of the year, this is what you're looking forward to. That 3 week break in. You have the races in the middle of it, but like just getting out to training for these couple of weeks. Like thankfully the weather hasn't been too bad recently, and you're just going down training at Tuesday and Thursday evening, sun shining at 8 o'clock at night, and you're just getting ready for the first round of 10th of August.
You obviously had Desi there for quite a few years, and now Aidan Ryan from Craughwell has come in this year to take you over.
Yeah, just in fairness, Desi now he put in a serious shift, and we'd Darren Lyons and Jason Hanner with him for a few years. Then we Ger Scales from Banner over with us last year. Like to put a serious Desi, especially like he was there 4 years, was how long he was there. But put a serious shift in, like 4 years is it's an awful long time to be with a group and I don't think anyone around Killimor would have a bad word to say about Desi. I know the boys still pop into the coffee shop and the pub when they're passing, so there's a good relationship built there, as well as what he was on the field, and just I suppose then after a while, just a change of voice is no harm either. Aidan's come in and his trainings are mighty. Press are really good. I really brought the whole group along. Trainings are good, and we're trying to get as many numbers down as we can. That's probably one thing we're struggling with this year, more than anything, is trying to get numbers to training. But anytime the trainings are there, the trainings are mighty, and you can see the whole group kind of coming along from training with the ball in hand and ball work. It's great.
What's the turnover in the squad been like then for you this year, Jack?
So a couple of young lads came in along, but I suppose the main, like, we were Shane Tracy's after going away to Australia, I'd say probably 2 weeks ago. And then Brian Horan, he's out with a long-term injury for the year as well. So they're probably the two big names. Like they were probably two of our most important hurlers last year. They're two big names that were missing out for the year. But I suppose at the same time saying that, we were missing them for most of the league as well. So we got the chance to blood in the new young lads. It's not as if they're after, like, we knew this was happening for the last couple of group games and stuff in the league. So chance to blood in new lads, chance to see where new lads are playing. So yeah, it'll be a bit of a change going out without two boys having playing such important roles in the last few years. But yeah, you get used to it. You have to get on with it.
And how do you feel the league went for Killimor then?
We probably started slow. I know we purposely didn't plan on going back because the year is so long. We purposely, when Aidan came in, we purposely decided not to get back onto the pitch getting into the middle of March. So definitely early on in the league, we were probably undercooked, but that was probably to be expected. But that's one, on being undercooked fitness wise is one thing, but there was games we just didn't really show up for. But then as the league went on, we got towards the end of the league, we actually started to string some performances together and probably start hurling the way Aidan wants us to hurl. And it actually made a big difference then, because and you're getting good challenges. I think our last two, we were playing Gort there, and Killimor Daly in the last couple of games, they're senior A teams. They're not teams that we'd be able to get challenged against normally. So it was great to get a good battle against them and stuff. But yeah, probably slow burner, and then kind of picked up near the end. But we didn't really do enough for finish then to stay up. We got relegated down from Division 2 down to Division 3. So obviously not what you started or planned on doing at the start of the year. But yeah, it was all right.
Even from chatting to a couple of the senior B guests, I've been getting their thoughts, because obviously the Intermediate Championship is going to restructure next year's Premier Intermediate. Is it sort of a different dynamic, because obviously you're really kind of going after being in that top 8 now?
Yeah, I don't really know, to be honest, because probably at the start of the year, you probably, everyone wants to think about winning, but realistically, at the start of the year, when you start into a group of the Intermediate, your first goal is to get out of the group, really. So I suppose in terms of that, there's not really too much that has changed, because if you top your group, then you have your thing ticked off that you're gone into the quarter final, that you're in the top 8. If you come second, then you're talking about preliminary quarter final to get into that top 8. So probably it's definitely not something we spoke about or anything like that. because the intermediate championship, like there's some games you could go out and you could be red hot favorites to win, or you could be like complete underdogs to lose or like to win as well. And and it can be a flip of a coin. I don't know, for some reason the games in the intermediate championships, they can go one way or the other very quickly. I suppose so at the start of the championship, definitely even for the last 5 or 6 years, the main goal is just getting out with the group to start of the year. So I suppose that hasn't really changed then from starting in this year.
Just looking at that group here, and you're obviously in Group B, Jack. It's
Yeah,
Craughwell, Abbeyknockmoy, Killimor, and Carnmore. What are you expecting
yeah,
in that group?
tough, tough games. Um, like we'd have hurled against Abbeyknockmoy countless times down over the past, like as long as I'm hurling, between league and championship. Like you know what you're going to get. You're going to get a big physical team that can hurl, that can punish you when they can move the ball around well and punish you. And then Craughwell and Carnmore, like they were the last two matches we had last year. We barely got over Craughwell in the preliminary quarter final, like by a point that we got a scrappy goal near the end of the game. Realistically, we were hurled off the pitch for large portions of that match. And then Carnmore better than the quarter final, and like they've ran Tina close in the last couple of years, and like we saw how dominant Tina were in the championship last year. So like there's definitely going to be no easy game in that group, because like every game is going to be a battle, and that's probably what it's going to be first and foremost, is a battle, and it'll be a battle to get yourself into the game to allow you to hurl following that. But it's going to be a battle for the first while, and then all them games, anyways. Yeah.
What do you feel are the ambitions for Climber this year, Jack?
Um, it's probably like I'd love to say getting out with a group, and like obviously that has to be the ambition, is getting out with a group. But like we probably didn't hurl as well as we should have, or we haven't shown we could hurl as well as we can in the league so far. So probably I'd have to say just like realistically, it's going to be focusing on that first game against Carnmore and seeing where the championship can take us from there, if it can take us from anywhere. Because like a championship can like very quickly die off or very quickly explode into life. So like you realistically, like as I said there, like about Carnmore, like how close they pushed Tina. Like we got a couple of late goals against them last year to put a bit of like to make the scoreline not look so bad, but we know exactly what we're going to get after hurling against them last year in the league and in the challenges and championship. Like so the focus on the goal is just getting over that first game and seeing if we can go anywhere from there. But I definitely wouldn't be looking past anywhere further than that first game at the moment.
Just finally, then, Jack, your views on the split season. Do you feel it's working? Do you feel it's maybe too long of a season, or what do you think of the season as a whole overall?
Yeah, it's hard to know. It's hard to know. I think there's a way of doing it. Like we went back this year in the middle of March, and that was probably a perfect time to go back in terms of the season. That we're not at a back. We didn't start back in January. We're not going 8 months at this stage. But then at the same time, then you're probably in them first couple of league games, you're probably undercooked. And then we finished the league. We played our last game in the last day of May. So the June bank holiday was, I think we played on the Friday. So we played the 30th of May was our last league game. So there's a massive gap there to the start of the championship. And I know it, like people say, like it's grand because you can have your little bit of time. Lads know when to book holidays. They can take a couple of weeks off. We took a week off after that, Graham, or a week or two. Yeah, we finished on the Friday, went back to Tuesday week after. So it was grand that way. But like, even if it was just like if the league was delayed 2 weeks, 3 weeks, just to condense that up, because like the league is competitive. Challenges are challenges, but like the league is that just a bit of a step up again. Especially when we were up in that division too, like you're hurling against senior A teams in that. Like, and it's hard to get challenges of that caliber. So it's probably you want that little bit of a break to give lads the time off in the summer to book their holidays, do whatever they want to get a bit of a reset. But it's probably just too long at the moment from if you get knocked out. I know then obviously if you go into a final and semi-final, but if you don't get to a semi-final, like you'd have finished your league the 30th of May. It's a very long time then until the second weekend in August without a competitive game. Like it's all well and good training and trying to get challenges, but at least the league is competitive. So it's probably yeah. If you could just delay the league a week, 2, 3 weeks, it'll probably make a big difference in the kind of, and then like that would give leeway for lads just to like delay the start of the year as well, because it's just the long old year when you're thinking of like, I think the county finals are, it's usually November into
Yeah,
November when you're going playing it, you know. So if you start back at the hurling at start in January, like November is a long time away.
yeah. That's got some good points there. Great stuff, Jack. Thanks a million for that, and best of luck in the championship.
Thanks a million, Paul.
Now we're continuing our build up to the Intermediate Hurling Championship, and I'm joined by Carnmore's Mark Slevin to look ahead to their Intermediate Hurling Championship campaign. Mark, how are preparations going?
Yeah, Paul, they're going grand. I mean, a nice summer of the league, and then we've had a few challenge matches and stuff. But the trainings are going well. Everyone in the camp is, we have everyone at the moment, so and everyone seems healthy. So yeah, no, going well, going well. Looking forward to now August 10th, or whenever whatever day it's fixed for first round. Kind of prep for that now. It's hard to know where you are until that first ball's thrown in, really, and then you can kind of judge it from then.
How do you feel the league went for you?
I mean, it was a mixed bag. Like it was, there was highs and lows, like in most league. To be honest, it wasn't something that, like, it was something we wanted to do well in, but it wasn't something that we're kind of held up by. Um, we won a few games. To be honest, Paul, I couldn't tell you off the top of my head which games we won, which games we lost. It was kind of come and gone so early nearly. But yeah, like it went well. And it kind of set us up well to kind of build. We have a few building blocks that we needed to build on, which is good. At least we pointed them out early in the season.
The state management still remains in place for you as well this year.
Yeah, we've Decky still at the helm. Um, I mean, he's been over us. This is the third year he's over us now. I mean, we've been improving every year under him, so like it was a kind of guarantee nearly. Well, for us, we wanted him back. It was whether he wanted to come back with us. I know Decky's brilliant. He's brilliant with us. He gets us in the right mindset anyway, and we've kind of our management then in the background. We've Sean and a few of the boys strength and conditioning, Aaron with strength and conditioning. Yeah, just keeping us on our toes, keeping us up, and yeah, look, it'll be interesting to see what way we set up this year. How we're going to set up in games and stuff. Because there'll be adjustments that need to be, on the fly and things. And I reckon that they're the right people to kind of get us through it, hopefully.
Just in terms of player turnover, Mark, have you been able to hold on to anyone? Is there many new players in the squad this year?
Player turnover, I think we've been lucky this year, Paul. We kind of had we've had very few people leave, if any, from last year's squad. If anything, we've had a few come in from younger lads. If the likes of, well, like if younger lads like Mark Lynn and all these, and Niall Feeney, Niall Feeney would have been on the team there last year, and Mark Lynn would have been on the team, kind of coming on and starting, but he's really come on this year. Different lads like that. Then you have Mark Collins' younger brother, Owen Collins, coming in with us, and it's just good to see them, even if like their first year playing intermediate. Cormac Feeney, Niall's younger brother, even if they're just in with the group, training with us, still getting blooded in nice, because like they're still playing minor under 20, like. So it's yeah, no, it's great to see. Like numbers of training are up from what they were a couple of years ago. So look, it's moving in the right direction. It's just about making sure that these lads still can stay hurling. Yeah, so in that, yeah, we haven't lost anyone to Oz or to Australia, so we're trying to hold on to as many as we can, I suppose.
Mark, I know Conor Flaherty is obviously a footballer with Galway, but like he's been a massive hurler for you over the last few years. Has been good to get him back in among the group.
Oh, of course, Flaz, he's a savage, just athlete, but he's also a great person. Like great person to have around the dressing room. I mean, yeah, look, he's in with Galway. That's like, it's very few people get to go in with a county team of that standard. So it's obviously understandable. But it's always just great to get him back. He's back now a couple of weeks, and you already see he's, the hurl back in hand. It's kind of all come back to him very quickly, as it normally does. But yeah, no, he's a savage lad to have in around again. You'd miss the kind of level-headedness he brings to the panel when he's in there.
Can you draw a lot of confidence on the last 2 years, the performances you've given against China, Average and Irie, and you see them what they went on and did last year?
Yeah, I mean, like we've done better every year. Like as we put it, the last couple of years we've kind of been improving, and like everyone's saying, oh yeah, close. We were close to Tina and stuff. And like, look, in fairness, we'd be quietly confident in ourselves, but I think we're very conscious that we don't want to be caught up in our confidence either. End of the day, it's still championship. Anyone can win. Like, look, like first round championship is all we're kind of thinking of, and it's kind of get back in the groove of it more than anything. Because I don't at this stage you're kind of just sitting waiting for it.
Hmm.
But yeah, like I think definitely we'd be more confident now than we would have been 2 years ago in our own selves. So that's I suppose the main takeaway from the last 2 years, really.
Just in Group B, looking at the group you've been drawn in, Clymer, Abbeyknockmoy, and Craughwell second team. What are you expecting in that group?
Well, I mean, look, there's no easy games, and that's kind of what I'll live by. There's never an easy game. Before the ball's thrown in, there's never an easy game, we'll say. But yeah, like look, we've Climber first round, played them in the quarterfinal last year. Um, they're a serious outfit. Like when they get them on their day. So, like that's kind of the main thought at the moment. I reckon I reckon it'll be a great game. I think we'll have a good bit of crack with them. But yeah, like look, we hope to get over that one, obviously. And they'll be gunning for us, which is fair. So it'll be all out, and then hopefully now we'll kind of get in a groove, and we can kind of I like we'd be looking hopefully to do well in the group, hopefully. But as I said, you never know.
Just this year, then, Mark, what do you feel are the championship ambitions for Carnmore this year?
Championship ambitions, I suppose. Well, again, like if you're not improving, you're regressing. So I suppose improvement would be the main goal. Um, like we'd be caught ourselves to say that we don't want to make Premier Intermediate kind of up on the upper echelons of this year anyway. At least, look, everyone's striving to win it. That's the way it is. Like you don't go into championship without wanting to win the thing, but um, like it's kind of the case of we have to take it one game at a time. And look, if we can keep on improving from the first game up until our last, then that'll be a success in my eyes, to be honest.
You mentioned Premier Intermediate. Does it bring a different dynamic to the championship to get into that top eight this year?
Definitely, I think so. I think everyone who was on the edge, or if you're on the edge of that top eight, or if you're playing a game to get into that top eight, it just adds that bit more. Like, not that there wasn't um kind of an intensity or a want for to move on. It just adds that bit extra of a incentive to kind of get over the line, and make sure you solidify your spot in it.
Great stuff, Mark. Thanks very much, and best of luck in the championship.
Cheers. Thanks a million, Bob.
Now we're continuing our build up to the Intermediate Hurling Championship, and I'm joined by Abbeyknockmoy's Keith Boyle. Keith, how are preparations going ahead of the championship?
Hi, Paul. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, grand, no. Training's going well now, in fairness, and had a tough out league campaign there, but um, steady. We're going steady at the minute, so they're going good.
How do you feel the league went for you?
The league was tough, I suppose, for us. We had a few lads gone there. They were gone to America for the summer, and um, like we got off to a good start. I suppose we had a couple of wins there, and then coming up against tougher opponents like. We were taking it kind of game by game, and I suppose it kind of towards the end kind of fizzled out a bit. But I suppose we're kind of coming good again, so training's going well, so it's not too bad.
Keith, what is the dynamic, I suppose, of having the Flaherty brothers as joint managers this year? They're obviously still playing. What is that dynamic like?
It's brilliant. Well, I suppose it's not every club that has kind of player managers now, the two boys, but I suppose the two boys they've given a lot to the likes of Abbott Hurling and Monday football over the last couple of years. They're doing dual players, but especially hurling. they're part of the All Ireland winning panel that won back there a few years ago, and so they've given a lot to the Abbeyknockmoy hurling club, to be honest, and it's great to have them and their experience on and off the field as well. And I suppose all the lads get on with them, so they're a good combination to have over the team this year. That gives the team a great boost.
What's the dynamic like, I suppose, when they're playing and they're not on the line? How does that manage itself?
Well, it's grand. Like it's different, all right. But you know, they're on the pitch beside us and they're not on the line. So when they're on the pitch, they're on the pitch, and the boys on the line make the decisions. Then so they're kind of not shouting from the pitch. So they have all faith in the rest of our backroom team as well. So it's a good dynamic. Because and it's well organized. They've it well organized in the backroom team as well. So.
Where do you feel you are then, Keith? Obviously, there was probably disappointment when you got knocked out last year to Style On in the preliminary quarterfinal.
Yeah, I suppose this year now we're I suppose we have the same kind of feeling again. So last year was kind of a bit disappointing. We thought we'd get a bit further, As not taking away from Silent. Silent are a good team. They've been thereabouts. I think they reached the semi-final year before that as well. But and rivalries down to the years and that. But I suppose we were a bit disappointed at the end. We thought we could have put in a better performance. But this year now we're going all right. We're taking it game by game, and I suppose that's all you can do with championships. We're playing Craughwell there in 2 weeks' time, so we'll our heads screwing off at that game now, and we'll just take that game first, and then see what comes for the Carnmore Climber games after that. So.
You mentioned there Carnmore, Climber, and Craughwell in your group. What are you expecting in that group?
Yeah, it's a tough one. Because Craughwell, they're a good team. Their intermediate team was always very youthful. But he's trying to make the senior team very competitive. So it's not going to be easy. So they'll be a good challenge. We played them a couple of times over the last couple of years. Same with Carnmore. They feel like I suppose they've savage underage coming through there the last couple of years. I think the one was it minors or under 20s there as well. They haven't really kind of acclimatized or put it onto the field. So there's waves of players coming there as well. So we feel like that'll be tough as well. And Killimor, they bet us a few years ago up in Kenny Park. We were fairly down after that now as well. So we're really focusing this year on performances. And as I said, we're taking it game by game because we can't look to the last group game against Killimor without looking at the first Craughwell match and the Carnmore match. So we need to put in performances in the first 2 games before we can focus on the Killimor match as well. But they'll be tough opponents, no doubt.
And what would you say is the goal for Abbey then this year?
Well, as I said, it's performances, because I think that's where we've been lacking the last couple of years, We're always saying we want to get to every team wants to get to the latter stages of the championship, but we've kind of been hovering there around kind of preliminary quarterfinals for the last 5 or 6 years, I'd say, or 4 or 5 years. So we want to kind of push that on a bit more and get as far as we can really with the group of players that we have at the minute.
Is it a different dynamic? I suppose everyone wants to be in that top 8 now to be a Premier Intermediate club next year.
Yeah, I suppose it adds a different viewpoint to it, all right. But we'll definitely be trying to push up there, every I suppose every team in intermediate wants to be up there, but I think we feel like that we have the panel of players to do so. So we'll be hoping to get up there,
Just finally then, Keith, in terms of the structure of the season, I know you have your challenges obviously between dual commitments with Monavea Abbey and playing hurling with Abbeyknockmoy. But in terms then of the split season and the way the championship is structured in Galway, do you feel it's working?
I suppose it is. I suppose it is, Paul. I suppose for dual clubs like us, it's difficult, and I can't speak for any other clubs, the likes of Mike Cullen and after I in football and hurling as well, and there's many more clubs. But I suppose it is. It's like it's week on, week off. I suppose for the likes of our lads, so playing hurling and football. But I suppose you can't really manage it any other way. Because with the amount of games that is coming like at this time of the year, I think it suits. Like I said, That's like the boys doing dual players. We have dual players, and they're trying to manage it as best they can, But they've prepared all year for this week on, week off, week on, So lads are prepared for it. Like I suppose it's heavy enough on the legs and whatnot, but they have all the recovery and everything in between games. Like, but yeah, I don't see a real problem with it now. But I suppose what else can you do with it? So
Great stuff, Keith. Thanks a million for that, and best of luck in championship.
thanks, Millie Paul.
Now we're continuing our build up to the Intermediate Hurling Championship, and I'm joined by Darren Lyons of the Craughwell Intermediate team. Darren, first off, obviously it's a different dynamic for Craughwell in the Intermediate Championship, with it being their second team. What's that dynamic like ahead of the championship?
Well, preparation wise, it'll be no different. We're training with the seniors, 2-3 times a week. We're all training together there as a group. So training wise, it's all been treated and looked at the same way. So there's not much difference there as the intermediate team as a group in itself. Look, we're all kind of eager now to get it started. Really, we've been training since back January, say, doing a bit of running and gym, and then so just kind of eager to get it on the road now and get going.
You obviously mentioned there, obviously training with the seniors. Obviously, for every player playing intermediate, the goal is there to push on to the senior team.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. We've a lot of young lads coming up this year now. They're definitely making their point proving anyway on the intermediate team, and are definitely showing a lot too in the right way to be thereabouts for senior as well. So we've great bunch of young lads coming up there now. Say we've 3 or 4 that came up last year and 3 or 4 that came into the squad this year that are going very well there now with this intermediate squad, and are definitely going to make their presence known in senior at some stage.
How do you feel the league went for you?
The league as a whole, it has its ups and downs for us. Look, it's not ideal really. I know to come out of it with 1 win was never ideal, but I think that didn't justify the performances we had. Like, we got off to a bad start against Athenry where we kind of didn't show up really at all, and we only kind of showed up in the second half, and it was all too late. Then we were trailing by a lot, and we left it all too late to come back. Whereas Carnmore in the second round, it was much the same again. Really, we just kind of tanked with 10 minutes to go, and that being their first team that day, it kind of showed too. They had that bit more of experience, and like that again, it was the same with Cylon as well. They were just well better than us in the day. The fact that it was their first team, that showed as well, and their experience as a bunch kind of stood to them. But we definitely performed the last day against Rahu Newcastle, right? We were delighted to come out of it with, say, a win anyway, and one positive anyway out of it was to come out with a win, especially against like that too, another first team.
Just as you mentioned in there, obviously player turnover wise, you mentioned about the younger players coming through. You've obviously lost the services of Niall Healy this year.
Yeah, look, Niall's a great servant to the club. He always has been. He's one of the most dedicated clubmen, I'd say, in the country, never mind the county. But no, he's gone down all right. He got regraded this year. I suppose it's more so for himself, really, to get more game time for himself. He's done everything for the club, and we can't be still relying on him now at this stage. With the man, with his experience and everything he's done for the club, we kind of need to just step up ourselves now and prove a point ourselves, and us younger lads need to go out there and prove a point.
Going back to last year, Darren, that climber game, you pushed them so hard, and even deep in injury time as well. You really pushed them right to the wire. Can you draw huge confidence from a performance like that heading into this year?
Yeah, that game was well, it was very disheartening going off the field that day. But to look at it from a performance wise, I'd say we didn't do anything wrong on the day. Really, we were all disheartened leaving that day below in Duggan Park. We thought we'd everything done. We thought we'd done everything right, really, in the game. Just to come out of it and lose it by the point was disgusting, really. But as a group performance that day, that was the best we've played as a group that year. All right.
Colin Rooney in charge again this year. Important to keep him in charge.
Well, yeah, Colin knows us all. He's had a lot of us there in that group since we were under 16, minor 20. He's had us all the way up. It's the same kind of group of 4 or 5 lads there that have had us. So we'd know everything about Colin. We know what he wants from us, what we have to do for him, and his dedication and the lads that are in there with him for having us from say 16 all the way up and staying with us even when we got to adult level and taking this intermediate team there 2 years ago to get that kind of group of lads that he brought up again to try push on and get over the line with us at some stage.
As a player, are you disappointed in one sense that all the second teams are not going to be in the Premier Intermediate grade no matter how they do in the Championship this year?
Yeah, it's definitely something that I wouldn't have went for myself, and I think as a group we didn't really want to go with it either. Like there's look, I know it's changing a lot the championship, but I think we wanted to be challenging. You know, I think we did prove our point getting so close to them teams last year. Like say, like we only lost 4 or 5 points the first stage Carnmore, and to beat Anna Down as well. Like that's two first teams there in the group, and then to go on and nearly beat Killimor, like who are always thereabouts in contention, like for the intermediate. So I think we definitely have proved our point as a second team that we are well able to contest with these first teams in the group and push on and even beat some of them. Like,
What are you expecting? I suppose you're drawn in Group E. It's Craughwell, Abbeyknockmoy, Killimor, and Carnmore in that group. What do you expect there?
well, we'll be taking it one game at a time now. Our target is Abbeyknockmoy Sunday week. We'll be taking it from there. Obviously, we'll be, a win in the first round takes a lot of pressure off, and it eases you easy into the second game too. Last year we didn't have that. We were 2 losses, and we had to win the last game to stay up. But this year, no, if we could get a win under our belt, it's amazing what a win can do for a team. Especially the first round of the championship. You know, if you can walk out after the first weekend championship with in your back, your heads are high already, and you're already progressing already, and there's a buzz kind of going around training then.
Overall, then, for Craughwell as a whole, this intermediate team, what do you feel is the overall goal this year?
Well, look, we'd love to be seeing the knockout stages anyway, the quarterfinal, say go one step further than last year and see. But like that, it'll be game by game now the way we'll be treating this. See if we can get over Abbeyknockmoy first, and then I think we tackle Killimor again, and we'll have that bit of an edge about us really after last year. But look, the only thing we're worried about at the moment now is Abbeyknockmoy Sunday week, so we'll get over them first and see how we go from there.
Great stuff. Thanks very much, Darren, and best of luck in the championship.
Cheers, Paul. Thanks.